Yes.
New guest as well.
Hello.
Age, please.
I'm 26.
Do you agree or disagree with the background?
I disagree, and I would say I think if you're pro-life, you must be pro-woman because at around 50% of the children who are unalived, let's say, are women.
Think about what you just said. Hold on,
I'm
everybody
sorry,
be
but-
quiet. Everybody be quiet. Everybody be quiet. Can you repeat that sentence one more time? Just the way you said it.
Sure, yeah. So if you're pro-life, you must be
Bryce,
pro-women.
go ahead.
Oh, can you hear me?
You said
Oh, sorry.
about 50% of the children that are going to be born are women.
Yeah, just about. I mean, I don't know the exact proportion, but that
Okay,
sounds
so
about right.
It's not
Yeah.
as much as like the numbers that I had to issue with. You see the contradiction there, what you just said. The
No.
children that are going to be born are women.
Well, no, I said the children that are unalived are women. The babies.
How can
So
children
they're
be
quite
born
literally-
or unborn? Hang on, born or unborn? How can a child, born or unborn, call it whatever you want to call it? How can a child be a woman?
I guess I should have been more clear. A female who will become a woman.
How do you know she will become a woman?
Well, because she's a female, she'll grow up into a woman.
How do you know?
Because that's how it works. I don't know. What do you mean?
What if she has a terminal illness and then unalives due to that illness, and she's only 3 years old? Is she a woman? Will she become one?
Okay,
No,
I think
we're not talking about
normatively,
potential women. We're not talking
normatively.
about future, women. We're talking about actual women, which
Okay.
are, above 18 years that are female.
But you would agree that if
So we're
you
not talking
if you
about
passed a
women
law
who
to say
as they
unalive
exist.
all female girls under the age of 10 or something, that would negatively affect women in general, right? Or no? Oh, did I get?
Why are you pro-life?
Did I get? I keep getting muted. Sorry. So yeah. So I'm pro-life because I'm a Christian, and so we're commanded not to kill. We're commanded to love our neighbors as ourselves.
That's not right
Are you a
either.
virgin, Rise?
No, I'm not a virgin.
Well, that's kind of inconsistent with being a Christian.
I
isn't it?
completely agree. I was living in sin. I was having sex and masturbating and watching pornography until I gave my life to Christ.
God.
Or you need to censor your words.
Oh, I'm
sir.
sorry.
You
I'm
need to
sorry.
censor your words.
Okay, I
We're
forget
not going
about
to allow
TikTok
that.
sometimes. My
Sorry.
bad. My bad. I didn't mean to do that.
Understood.
So I lived in all sorts of sin, drugs, and all sorts of stuff. Oh, do I muted again?
Understood.
Oh.
Oh, okay. And you can also keep your Christianity to yourself and stop projecting it onto others. Because we have this lovely woman, Olivia, who just left the panel, who is fantastically.
Yeah, let's do it. Mom,
Wait,
get back up here.
I didn't mean to leave. I don't know what's going on. I keep getting muted and like kicked, but sorry.
Well, I muted you because you were using non-TikTok friendly language.
No, that I
You were
understand.
speaking very graphically, and you don't need to go there to prove a fucking point.
Okay, yeah, that's
That's
fair.
why I muted you.
I understand.
I'm also going to mute you if you overtalk the host or any of the mods.
Gotcha.
And I dropped you. I aborted you from this.
Hey, yes.
I didn't believe in God and everything. I resurrected you, so you're back.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I also want you to talk to us about the subject secularly because we all don't follow the same religions or any religion at all.
Okay, so how do you make moral claims? Or from a secular point of view?
I'm sorry. Do you think a God is the one who's is that where you think the morals come from? Because morality existed before Christianity.
Well, not before God, though, because if a morality is objective, it must be universal, as in true throughout all space and time. So given if we're talking secularly, and if you're saying morality arises out of just simply like human culture or participation with each other, that's not an objective morality, that's just preference.
Morality is going to be subjective, and we speak pragmatically here. I could give a shit less about your morality.
Okay, so
I don't care
then,
what your morality says about abortion at all.
then why should anyone care what your morality says about abortion?
You don't. You shouldn't care what
Oh,
my
yeah.
morality says about
That's the whole
abortion
point.
because my morality does not affect your life.
Then why are you
Your
saying you
morality
can't?
does not affect my life.
Everybody has their own morality and pro-choice. Everybody gets to choose for themselves. So what Green's morality is has nothing to do with anybody else because that's her business. That's her life. We're not taking away yours. Be Christian all you want. So,
Okay.
you know,
Okay, I understand. So you admit that there's nothing better about being pro-choice than there is about being pro-life.
huh?
Well, then there's nothing better. Like, there's no reason for anyone to be pro-choice over pro-life because it's just subjective. It doesn't matter what anyone thinks, right?
Well, no, because if you're pro-life and you're actively forcing your opinions and morals on other people that don't share them with you, then yeah, that's pretty fucked up, I'd say. So pro-choice is the way
Pro-choice
to go.
pro-choice doesn't project your morality onto other people. It doesn't project your religion onto other people. It doesn't even project your opinions onto other people. Pro-choice literally advocates for the individual person to have a choice.
A choice to do what?
Whatever they decide to do. In this case, we're talking
Have an
about pregnancy and abortion. So they
or
should choose
their
to
pregnancy.
keep or abort.
But you agree that it doesn't extend. I mean, then there would be no point
No,
in
it doesn't
laws.
extend outside of pregnancy. Pro-choice,
Right.
pro-life is a pregnancy abortion thing. It is not like I can choose to just. No.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's the point. Exactly. So if
This is why
we
morality is
use
subjective, and things are subjective in this world, especially when it comes to abortion and pregnancy. I don't have to listen to your opinion and your morality on abortion to make a decision that's going to be best for me and my family.
completely agree, but we do sort of enforce some kind of morality onto society with every single law that we pass, right? So obviously you don't have the choice to do anything.
No, incorrect. I don't think there's anything moral.
Hang on, I got this. So, we're not talking about the other laws. We are talking about abortion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yes.
No need to finish your sentence. We know what you're going to say, but it just doesn't matter. We're talking about abortion. We're not. If we want to talk about other laws, let me know. Maybe I'll make a new background and we can talk about those laws.
Well, no, I'm not.
Now we're talking
Okay.
about abortion and abortion laws and abortion bans and restrictions. So we're not applying this elsewhere. Okay?
No, I know, but I'm talking about
Guys,
why
personally,
you are
I
pro-choice.
am Christian, but I am pro-choice, and I personally would never get an abortion, but I would never want to make that decision for another woman, which is why I'm pro-choice.
She does it the right way.
I completely understand that position. I mean, I held that position for a while, but then I realized, and I'm not trying to talk about other laws. I'm just saying, in a society, we make moral prescriptions over people, and this is one of those prescriptions. You either have a
Those are
pro-choice
socially
society.
driven.
Okay, I mean, I don't agree with that, but I can see that, and so that's why I was talking about it. I'm not trying to sidetrack and bring us to a different law. I'm saying, what is the reason for the pro-life laws that are being put forth?
Well, I can answer
I
that.
don't know. You're
very
gonna have to speak
clearly.
with pro-life people about that because I don't understand why they're trying to put forth
Well,
pro-life.
Well,
can.
I'm one right here. You can ask me.
Rise. I got this.
Yeah.
It's because look, there's I don't know if it's like a church thing or what. There's something wrong with them where they actually think that a fertilized egg, they see that the same as like an 8-year-old. Like if you put like this fertilized egg like in a petri dish under a microscope and then you like sat it next to like my 8-year-old daughter, they'd be like, yup, I see 2 children. And like it's a them problem. Like they
Why is that a them problem? You would do that with a 1-year-old and an 8-year-old. They don't look anything alike, a 1-year-old and an 8-year-old, but they are the same child.
Sure. Okay. So again, now you're comparing a 1-year-old to something that we need to look at under a microscope.
Yes.
That we don't even know is going to implant and become a pregnancy. They value that the same as a child. We pass those
Yeah.
you know, on the reg without them being implanted, the fertilized eggs. There are so many fertilized eggs that we probably flush down the toilet,
Sure. Sure. And I'm just saying we should limit
You
that.
know, if you think that those are the same as like an 8-year-old or a 1-year-old or like shit, a brand new baby that was just born 5 seconds ago, if you think that those are the same, then like you gotta like, there's something not. If you don't see the difference, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, you could tell me what the difference
Hold on one
is
second.
because I don't
Hold on one
understand
second. I
what the
do have a
difference is.
question for clarification. Mexico, did you just say fertilized eggs passing in the toilet?
Yeah.
And he said we need to try to prevent that.
No. I said limit that. I said limit that. I said if.
Okay, limit that.
Yeah.
We need to try to limit. How in the hell do you limit a fertilized egg from being passed in a woman's period every month?
Oh, you don't
if
do
she's
that.
Quite literally not aware that the egg has been fertilized. Please explain that to me.
Oh, you couldn't possibly, and I wouldn't ever recommend that we limit that type of thing happening. But I'm saying
can't.
to the. No, I know. I completely
Literally,
agree.
you can't. Biologically, you cannot stop that.
Completely
There is no
agree with you.
way
I think-
to limit it. So why did you say that we needed to limit that when you quite literally can't?
May I explain?
I asked the question. I expect an answer.
Okay, great. So people die naturally all the time. Does that mean we don't try to limit death by having laws about seatbelts and guns and things like that?
Again, you're taking this outside of
No,
pregnancy.
it's an example to show you exactly what I mean. I'm saying
No.
people
You
die
said
all the
value
time.
The
For,
fertilized egg. This you see no difference between that and an 5-second born baby.
Yeah.
Okay, so now if you should have serious issue then with our bodies naturally passing them, and you should cry every single time that it happens.
woman in a period.
When they don't implant, you should really be upset about it, because those are all these children just going into the sewer system. That's really sad.
Mm-hmm. That is
They're
sad.
exactly the same, right?
yeah, no, that is sad. I mean, I'm not saying I cry every time, mostly because I don't. If I had my wife and then she had that kind of situation or something, and again, I'm not so familiar with
would never
how this
know.
works.
You would
Well, if I would never
know.
know, then I wouldn't know to cry. But if I knew, then I would cry, right? I mean, it's not that hard to.
But you can live
Yeah.
your life with the knowledge and the understanding that your wife
Mm-hmm.
passes fertilized eggs in her period every single month.
Okay. And
So cry about it.
okay, I'll start crying then. Okay.
Right now what we're saying that there's a clear difference between, because people are like, well, it's a child from conception.
Yes.
Like before it even implants and the woman is actually pregnant, it's a child.
Yeah.
So that when you said why does the pro-life? Because they're delusional.
Okay. Is that your argument for why it's not a child? Because I'm
No,
delusional.
because no. That's not my argument for why it's not a child.
Yeah.
I forget. I'm not tracking. Yes, I get my record back. I'm not tracking 100%. But you had said something like, "Well, why did the pro-lifers, think whatever?" You said something about why did the pro-lifers, and I was like, "Well, because they're fucking delusional."
Okay. I'm not. I don't understand. Okay. Did someone else? Someone else sounded like they wanted to say something.
I just wanted to ask you, like, if you did, do you believe that a woman should carry a pregnancy to full term if she's the victim of rape?
Yeah, unfortunately, that is such a heavy and difficult topic, and it is, as you know, a minority of the abortions that take place are due to that. But that being said, yes, I don't think that
Why is it a tough topic? It's
grape is horrific. I mean,
but it's human and alive. It was conceived.
well, that's what I would say.
Fertilized egg, and now it's
Yeah.
a couple weeks old.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what makes it so.
Give it a second thought.
No, that's what makes it so difficult is that the woman has been subject to one trauma. She's already the victim of one trauma. And I don't think the right answer to that is to then traumatize another living human being. So two wrongs don't make a right, essentially.
Okay, so my
you
first
don't-
question to you is going to be, Rise.
Mm-hmm.
So, are you saying that an abortion would be a second trauma?
Yes, to the child at least, and possibly to the mother as well.
How is the child being traumatized if it's aborted? And we're going to be good faith here in the first trimester. Let's just say I'll give you 8 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Let's go 7-8 weeks, whatever.
Sure.
7.5 weeks.
Yeah.
How is that child being traumatized?
Because they're becoming the victim of a unalivement, or am I allowed to say schmurder? I don't know.
Well, it's not
You can say
schmurder,
schmurder. You do
Okay.
need to.
Yeah, but it's not.
I mean, but that would be the correct term to use.
Okay,
here, to
all right.
not say the real word.
Okay, cool. So yeah, that's my view, is that life begins at conception. Therefore, it is a life that is being terminated. So
Right. Okay. So then, why on earth would it? Your answer to Stu when he asked you if you would give a grape exception, it should have been absolutely not. Why is it you're like, oh, that's a tough situation? Why?
well, it's different. It's a highly emotional. People bring that up because it's a highly emotional topic, and I think it's tempting to just say, "Oh, the woman doesn't want to carry the child to term because it's the child of her rapist, which I can sympathize with. I completely understand, but I'm just making the point that two wrongs don't make a right. Well, I agree. I think if she were compelled to carry the child to term and to sort of see it a different way than what the culture promotes, then she would understand that, yes, this is a child that isn't guilty of the sins of its father.
Well, nobody said it's guilty of the sins of its father. But what you're not understanding is you're automatically assuming that the abortion after the, essay would be a second trauma. Have you ever thought of it the other way around, that maybe forcing her to sustain this pregnancy and live with it for 9 months, unexpected pregnancy, because, she didn't even plan for this to happen. And then giving birth to a child that, maybe she wants, maybe she doesn't. We're not saying that all babies via grape should be aborted. If a woman wants to choose to carry it, and that's great, we support her. However, you don't think that maybe that could possibly cause more trauma? I would kind of think of that as the second wrong.
Well, I would think, yeah, absolutely. That's why I said it was difficult. I don't know why you're actually sticking on the fact that I agree that it's a difficult situation. I think there could be a lot of pain and even trauma that comes from the decision to carry the child to term of the rapist. But in that case, the trauma is only potentially, if it does happen, if it does carry out, the trauma is on the woman in that case. But if you terminate the pregnancy, then the trauma is both on the woman and the child who's been terminated.
I'm just asking how the child that has been terminated at a 7-week abortion, 7-week abortion, how is that experiencing trauma?
Well, it's a human being. I mean, it's a child. It has a soul. It has a soul.
Okay, so if you believe in souls, that's fine. Souls are everlasting.
Yes.
It will reincarnate into something else.
Well, I don't believe in reincarnation, but yeah.
The soul is everlasting.
Has a soul?
Sorry?
Around souls.
Sorry, what was the question?
Can you prove that the child has a soul?
I can't prove it, but that's part of my moral paradigm. I mean, I could prove it. That's a much longer thing. I feel like you guys don't really want to get into that, the transcendental argument for the existence of God, but we could, and I'd be happy to.
Oh, no. But basically what you're saying
Please, no.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Because it just proves our point that, no, you don't have proof of the soul.
No, I do. It's a different conversation. But
Whoever knows, who knows? We don't know what's going to happen when we unalive. We'll see. We'll all find out one day.
Okay.
I just wanted to I wanted to make a follow-up point at your response there. When you're trying to limit the type of trauma that the woman would experience, like if she decided to abort the pregnancy before term or carry it through. We're forgetting that this is going to potentially be a living child, that the woman has to look at this kid's face every single day and envision her abuser and see this guy's face every day.
Yeah.
And that's a lot more long lasting and traumatic for a woman to experience than going through an abortion, which is not a traumatic experience. But I think if your main goal is to limit trauma, then aborting a unplanned pregnancy through a sexual assault is the lesser of two evils.
Well, I could see what you're saying, but there's
before you go, I just want to piggyback off of that, Stu, because that was very good. I want to say, because there's always that option. Well, you don't have to look at that child every day. You can give it up for adoption.
Right.
Great. Let's take it a step further. Let's say she doesn't keep that child, but let's say, because this does happen with pregnancies, your body will never be the same. It will never look the same. So what happens, let's even just take it as simple as something like stretch marks.
Okay.
She has stretch marks now from this unwanted, unplanned pregnancy that she got because of a grape. Do you understand that now every time she looks in the mirror at herself, those stretch marks alone will be a constant reminder for her?
Yes, that's horrific. Look, I think rape is the most horrific crime that can be committed, other than murder, maybe. I'm in favor of rapists being castrated, executed, put in prison for life, the harshest possible punishments. So I agree, rape is horrific and has all sorts of horrific.
For handling like them and punishing them.
Yeah.
But that doesn't do anything about the woman and her circumstance.
Well, I agree. That's the unfortunate nature of the fallen world that we live in. But I'm saying the answer to these horrific crimes is not to commit another horrific crime.
Well, in my personal opinion, I feel as though forcing a woman or girl, because girls can get pregnant too, I feel like forcing a woman or girl after she's already been assaulted to sustain an unwanted pregnancy, go through giving childbirth, and assume any complications that may come along with this lifelong, or just during the pregnancy itself. Mental health issues, I think all of that would be wrong.
Okay,
That is more of a problem.
we could agree to disagree on that point. Can I ask a question? When you believe that life actually begins, human life?
Well, sure, it's at conception.
I believe it's at conception.
Biologically, yes, it's at conception.
And so then it's acceptable to terminate certain human lives.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. And
During pregnancy.
and what kind of what kind of ethical paradigm is this? Is this like an atheist or Buddhist
I
or?
don't know what
or-
that means. I'm just.
I'm a
gonna be
Catholic.
honest with you.
I've
You're-
been baptized, but I'm not like some Bible thumping freak who devotes his life to the Bible and lives his life like.
But you don't follow the Catholic Church either.
I mean, I go to church every now and then. We say grace before dinner, but
I'm just saying that's not your ethical paradigm, because that's not the paradigm of the Catholic Church. They forbid abortion and support for abortion. And I'm not a Catholic either. I'm not a Catholic, so I'm not saying this to like shame you.
yeah,
But
you know what? You're right. They do, but progressive, there's been an uptick in progressive ideologies
Yeah.
across Western civilization, where there's lesbian preachers,
Right,
and there's
right.
agnostic churches and stuff. So I think as human beings evolve socially,
Yeah.
we're more open to different perspectives who've kind of been shunned.
so then your
historically.
moral paradigm would be something more like progressivism, or just kind of a personal feeling about how ethics should play out.
I guess.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Okay, I'm just pointing that out because it doesn't really make sense to answer that you're a Catholic in support of abortion when the Catholic position is to be against abortion. Just pointing that out.
So if I can just clarify my position,
Yep.
I'm in between. Like, I would call myself a pro-lifer who's also pro-choice. Abortion isn't something that I think should be like just blanket statement encouraged. And I've spoken with this ad nauseum with the people on this panel, where I'm like, I'm more of a traditionalist, where I celebrate people who practice abstinence and who aren't just out there having 6-7 abortions a year.
Right.
Even if that's not possible, you guys understand what I'm saying. I kind of discourage people from living that lifestyle.
But why would that be wrong from your perspective? I don't understand.
What part exactly?
Like having abortions for the purpose of like birth control, for instance. Like from your progressive perspective, where it's actually not wrong to unalive certain people, then why would it be wrong not to? Why would you prescribe someone not to do that if it's really just not wrong, if it's neutral or right?
Well, I feel like it's a traumatic experience. It's something that lives and stays with people, and especially if people do decide to have these procedures at a young age, they don't understand the full effects throughout their whole lives.
Yeah.
It could, if I'm not mistaken, somebody on the panel can clarify for me, but I'm pretty sure that you're opening up yourself for potential complications in future pregnancies if you do go through abortions. Is that right or wrong for me to say, Miss Mexico?
Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
Like if a young girl decides to have an AB early on in her development stages, like 17 or 18 or something, could that potentially lead to complications in future pregnancies?
Oh, I don't know. You have to ask
It's-
Dr. Jen.
Yeah, it's negligible risk. I would
Okay.
not counsel someone that way. No.
Okay. So yeah, there's a whole plethora of reasons why I would discourage that type of.
Can I ask a question to Dr. Jen? Are abortions risk free?
There's no procedure that's risk-free.
Okay, how about in comparison to giving birth?
14 times safer than pregnancy and delivery.
Okay. Good to know. Thank you.
Dr. Jen, is pregnancy risk-free?
No, that's what I was just asking.
14 times more dangerous.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to double check, make sure we were all on the same.
No, yeah, we're on the same page. I still don't think, even if it's risk free, that justifies what it is. But I understand that's interesting. Okay, cool. So everyone agrees that life begins at conception, but that you are just allowed to terminate certain lives if it's inconvenient for, say, the mother.
Define inconvenient.
As in well, I guess, I mean, it sounds like you can just get one if you want one, essentially.
Sure, like if you don't want to be pregnant, do
Yeah.
you think that pregnancy is an inconvenience? Do you think that giving birth to a child is an inconvenience?
Oh, certainly it is. But I think when we do certain actions, we sign ourselves up for certain potential consequences. So if you have sex, the consequence is potentially to have a child. So you should be able to take that consequence on.
Okay, so just a few things here. Okay.
Yeah.
So first, what you said was that with the I forgot what you said. I forgot the first.
Oh,
thing,
I
but-
said that if you do certain actions, there are consequences for those actions, and if that consequence is an inconvenience, well, it's your responsibility to take on that inconvenience.
He doesn't give a grape exception in Mexico.
Right.
Yeah, no, I don't.
So, okay, real quick, Rice.
Uh-huh.
So, okay, first of all, I think we have a couple, we're not on the same page with the definition of inconvenience.
Okay.
I know definitions are subjective, and I don't do the Phil Bro debate thing. But for me personally, the first thing that comes to my mind when I think of an inconvenience was last week or the other week they were fixing the train tracks that's right down the street from my house.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to get to the 7-Eleven, that's usually a 2-minute drive, not even. I had to go all the way around the block, and it took me, with all the traffic and everything, it took me 20 minutes just to get to the 7-Eleven.
Mm-hmm.
I would call that an inconvenience.
Okay.
So I don't know if you want to rephrase that, but I can't imagine how you could call pregnancy and childbirth an inconvenience because maybe I don't know.
I mean, to be clear, I was doing an internal critique of your position. So I don't think it's an inconvenience at all. I think it's a miracle that should be taken on with gladness and, happiness of heart, especially, and perhaps this is only possible within the consensual context, which is 99% of pregnancies. Okay, so let's just put that there.
Guys, I'll be right back.
Well, at least, unless you have different statistics, I'm happy to pull up your statistics, but my understanding is that only less than 1% of pregnancies are terminated due to grape or incest, is my understanding.
If I got raped and I had an abortion, and I didn't want to tell anybody that, let's assume that they made me provide a reason, because, they don't. Let's assume, they're like, why are you having this done? And I'm like, I don't want to tell, and they're like, tell us now, shining the light in your face, whatever.
Yeah.
I could just be like, financial reasons. Are they going to check my bank account and my budget and my bills and to make sure that I am telling the truth when I tell them, when they forcefully make me tell them why I am having this abortion?
Well, okay, so you're saying the statistics are probably wrong because people wouldn't self-report their own.
I think
Great.
that I think that they're as accurate as they can be.
Okay.
But I had an abortion, and it was not due to SA, but
Okay.
I mean, the statistics that we all use, okay? The only statistics that we have, I'm not a part of that. They would never know if it was SA or not because I wasn't asked.
I understand. So the fact that they don't but they don't ask about the other situations either. So if there's any asking at all, that's where those statistics come from.
Right. So these statistics are either self-reported, means they're comfortable enough, and if they are, required, they can say whatever they want. And so while I'm not saying that they're completely false, I just don't think that it accurately represents the different reasons why people have abortions because there's no way to know.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I think that's kind of a minor point to what I was saying. Now I actually kind of forgot what I was saying. But I mean, regardless, though, you'd have to agree that the minority of abortions are from SA.
Oh, sure. But at the same time, you don't
Yeah.
even give an exception. So what do you mean? Next thing we're going to talk about is
No, I was saying I would never call pregnancy an inconvenience. Like you were talking about how the train tracks are getting fixed, so you have to go around 20 minutes. That's not how I see a pregnancy. But for people that are getting abortions as a form of birth control, that is how they see a pregnancy, which to me is the
It's
miracle
not.
of birth.
No, it's not.
First of all, it's not.
Okay.
Second of all, it can't be used as birth control because birth control prevents pregnancy. When you get an abortion, you're already pregnant.
I understand. I'm just using it. I'm using it in in sort of a looser sense of people who got pregnant and don't want to be pregnant anymore.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So that's not birth control. And again, right now in my life, in my personal situation, if I got pregnant again, it wouldn't be having an abortion. It wouldn't be like, oh, this is an inconvenience. It would be like, wow, this would ruin my entire life and my born children's.
And can I ask how it would, and not to be too personal, just tell me to shut up if it is, but how would it ruin your life, out of curiosity?
Well, I've had 2 high-risk pregnancies.
Okay.
Snowball effect. It, was worse the second time. Was told it will probably be worse if I wanted to do it again. I probably won't want alive if I wanted another child, which I don't. But if I wanted to have another child and I was willing to, go through the monitoring and the staying in the hospital and all that stuff, I'd be alive at the end of the day. But it would also take me away from my 2 born children that need their mother. They've already lost their biological father. So God forbid, if the worst does happen, because severe preeclampsia is very dangerous for the woman. So let's just say, hey, I am being treated, but oops, something happened and now it's too late. My 2 children that I planned to have, that I wanted to have, are now without both of their biological parents. And they're only 8 and 3 years old. Not to mention the cost, the effect on my body. Probably shorten my lifespan a little bit more, if I'm not mistaken, Dr. Jen.
Yeah. Increases your risk of blood pressure. Yeah, don't do it.
Yeah, it's not great.
Gotcha.
And it would, again, take me away from my 2 born children. And if I survive, they're still motherless for a whole month.
Oh no, absolutely. No, I don't doubt that it would make your life harder and perhaps unlivable. And I wouldn't want you to risk your children, your other 2 children.
Real quick, wise, just to get extra personal,
Yeah.
because I don't mind. I also have quite a few mental health issues. Me being pregnant I don't ever want any more children, and I don't ever want to be pregnant again. I can't imagine what my mental health would look like during that whole time and after. Not good, I'm assuming,
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, I understand. Thank you for sharing that with me.
Of course.
Of course, to anyone whose life would be made insurmountably more difficult by a pregnancy or a birth, I would just simply recommend to not take the risk of intercourse, would be my recommendation. But
So, if I don't sign the imaginary contract before I have sex with my husband, I'm remarried, by the way.
okay,
My husband.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like 2.5 years.
Sure,
I'm remarried.
sure.
And we're still going strong.
Good. Congratulations.
I have an IUD in place, though. So, are you suggesting that I just stop having sex with him?
It's possible. I mean, there's some other considerations. I mean, there's obviously vasectomy for him. There's other things, but I think the safest way would probably be to not have sex. Really, I don't think he'd like that very much. But yeah, what's up?
I'll let him know when he gets home from work.
Tell him Reese sent you. Some TikTok nerd. Okay, cool. So someone else was gonna say something?
I've had a vasectomy.
Oh, cool.
It was not a very pleasant experience.
No, I can't imagine.
No.
Yeah.
Don't let your buddies who have had one tell you it's a walk in the park.
Oh, I'm never gonna I'm never gonna have one. But I appreciate that's good to know. I can't imagine if you walk in the park. Seems unnatural.
Definitely benefits. There's definitely benefits to it. Like me and my wife could smash uncontrollably, and that's a huge bonus. You're a little bit younger, right? You're like in your earlier 20s.
Yeah, I'm 26.
Yeah, so people change, man. Like your sexual drive will increase and decrease over time, and like how you're thinking early on in your life, which you are in the earlier stages of your
Agreed.
life. Like
Agreed.
your libido is gonna slow down, and your views on pregnancy are gonna change. I think, in my opinion, and they did for me, because when I was in my early 20s, dude, I was a totally different guy.
Well,
And having kids and being married and having a relationship with, my wife's a fucking devout feminist, kind of opened up my perspective a little more and brought me more to the center of my political beliefs.
when you were
So,
in your early 20s, did you follow Christ and his commandments, or?
I don't know, dude. I was going ape shit,
Right.
man.
Right. And
Smashing left and right, uncontrollably.
right. And that's how I was like in my even earlier 20s, I guess, than I'm in now. And so I'm just saying I pray to God that my view on this doesn't change, because that would ruin my life if I separated myself from Christ to that extent.
Okay, fair enough. Like, you say that now, but don't you think that you should have like across the board consistency with the Bible?
Yes.
If you're
Well,
right,
with the tradition more specifically than the Bible, because the Bible is one thing, but anybody can interpret the Bible however they want. That's why we have like 6,000 different Protestant sects. So we need an interpretive lens for the Bible that is consistent as well. So you need the church as well as need the church to tell you how to interpret and read the Bible.
Well,
Yeah.
Guys, I don't mean to interrupt the Bible sesh,
Mm-hmm.
but I wanted to ask you. Psych, just kidding. I totally.
You totally did. Yeah, I get it. I get it.
Totally did that. I was just waiting for a pause so I can
Yeah.
say it without
Yes,
being
please. Please come in.
So I just want to ask you, so with the whole, when you participate in an activity, you sign this, contract and are accepting of the results or
Yeah.
consequence. So I could see that, for example, I forget the name of it, but there's this, trampoline, play place type thing.
Yeah, I know those. Yeah.
That my kids go to.
Sky Zone.
Occasionally. And, yeah, you gotta, what's it?
Like sign a waiver.
Yeah, you have to sign a waiver so that, hey, if you are accepting these, consequences if your kid falls and,
Yeah.
breaks the leg. So, in that case, yeah, I can understand what you're saying. Of course, you sign this waiver, you're accepting the risk.
Totally.
What waiver? Because I don't know if I haven't found the paperwork, or where do I find this waiver to sign before I have sex with my husband?
Yeah, I mean it's the biological waiver. I mean it's not a literal one. There's no sex, angel or something that's going to come sign this before you have sex and know all the consequences. But we all know what the consequences of sex are. So that is the waiver, the knowledge of it, the way our bodies work, the fact that we're adults.
Yeah, it's a possible outcome.
Same with Sky Zone, though. They won't say your child's leg will be broken here. Otherwise, you would never go.
But at least I signed this paper, meaning I'm okay with it.
Right.
Because when I have
Right.
at least me, unless I don't know about something, I haven't signed any of those. Ever.
Yep.
Mexico.
Yeah.
I'm confused. Can I ask him something?
Please.
Yeah.
So earlier I heard you say that, and right now
Mhm.
we're talking about this consent.
Yes.
You're saying basically there's an obligation to stay pregnant and have this baby
Yeah.
because you did the thing
Yeah.
that put the baby in there.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you say that women who are raped also have this obligation.
Yeah,
And I
for a
don't
different
understand.
reason.
What's
Not
the
for the
reason?
same reason. The different reason is that it's two wrongs don't make a right. Two tragedies don't undo the first tragedy. That's the new reason in the special case of grape, which is horrific. I mean, I understand that. I sympathize with it. What's that?
We're not trying to undo anything with an abortion in that situation. We're not saying that we can undo this trauma or undo this wrong. But I think, again, just
Well, I didn't say that.
morals, I think wrong things are subjective as well, because you think it would be wrong
Right.
to traumatize the 7-week fetus by being aborted.
Yeah.
But I think it would be wrong to force a woman to sustain a pregnancy and give birth.
Right.
So
That's
who gets to decide? I think two wrongs don't make a right too.
Okay.
I agree.
Good.
But our wrongs are different. Here.
So this is why I was asking you earlier, and we got off of it, but that's why subjective morality is not real. It doesn't make any sense, because you're exactly right. You could say something's wrong, and it's wrong for you, and I could say something wrong, and it's wrong for me, and it doesn't apply to either of us. Oh, shit. Hold on. Sorry, am I still there? I got a phone call in the middle of that. So that's why subjective morality doesn't exist. It doesn't make sense. It's just preference. So morality cannot be subjective. Otherwise, it's not morality. It's just I feel a way and you feel a way, and no one can arbitrate between those two ways. But if you're saying it's wrong to force a woman to carry a child to term, and yet that's my subjective opinion, then it's not actually wrong. It's just how you feel.
I don't know.
It's not a very strong argument, you know that, right?
Why is
I'm
that?
trying to.
What's weak
like,
about
I
it?
don't know if
Explain to me
you're
why
wrong.
it's weak.
So, like, then what is? How do we know that it's objectively wrong? If you're saying it's not, if abortion is not subjectively, if it's, how do you know that abortion is objectively wrong then?
Well, we have to start with whether morality is objective or subjective. So if it's not subjective, which is the argument I just gave you, it's not really like, I wasn't giving you an argument that abortion is objectively wrong. I was giving you the argument morality must be objective for it to mean anything. Okay, now you say,
It's almost like our morals don't matter when it comes to this topic, right?
what's that? Our morals don't matter?
Almost like, yeah, our morals don't really matter.
No, this is a deeply moral issue, I think.
So then how? Because I don't think it's morally wrong.
Right, and because I reject subjective morality. I reject that anyone's individual view of what's right and what's wrong has any reference to the objective truth of what's right and what's wrong. And I don't want to bring Hitler and all that into this, but
I reject your rejection of my subjective morality.
right. So now you're seeing the problem with subjective morality. It means nothing. We can just go back and forth and keep rejecting and rejecting. So
So again,
right.
this is not a moral issue then.
no,
because
it
we're
is.
not
It
on
is.
the
It
same
is.
page.
It is because
What am I missing?
you asked me why then abortion is objectively wrong, and I'm saying because I preside in a paradigm which allows for objective morality, and that's the Christian
This is
paradigm.
because you
A
said
paradigm
so.
is a collection of views that make up your worldview, a collection of beliefs and let's just call them beliefs that make up your worldview. So within my worldview, objective morality actually does exist, and it stems from the goodness of the Christian God. Now that's a different argument, but you didn't want to get into that, so that's why we're at where we're at. Yeah.
Every
God.
God,
It's just God.
Relevant.
Yeah.
Because my world, my paradigm
Mm-hmm.
is that no.
I know exactly. So from your paradigm, you can't actually say that it's wrong to do anything.
Or
Like,
Catholic. So I really don't care what your God says. If you care what your God says, I think that's fine.
okay,
And I think you are welcome, and I respect whatever you want to do with your God and what your God says and shit.
Yeah.
But I want you to also then respect me, because we got to be mutually respectful, because it's not very Catholic. Did you say you're Catholic or Christian? I don't remember.
I'm I'm a catechumen in the Orthodox Church, so I'm entering the Orthodox Christian faith.
Oh, well then, either way, regardless, I don't think God would like you. It's not very godly to be forcing people to do these horrible things because, your God says this. God would not like you to do that.
Well, God
That's not-
God commands us to preserve life and to treat our neighbor as ourselves. So that's what I'm representing here. And I admit that I'm a sinner and I'm doing it imperfectly, and I beg forgiveness to the Lord for what I've misrepresented or said wrong. But I think he would enjoy, I hope, defending life.
No, I don't think he would, because.
But you
if-
don't
doesn't
believe in
God
him,
have-
so why would you?
Yeah, but doesn't God have a plan for us all? God knew that this pregnancy wasn't. God is planning this whole abortion,
Well, we have free will, so
and then
What about grape though? Like, do you think
Mm-hmm.
God would put a biological imperative of a rapist over human suffering?
Would God put the biological imperative of a rapist over
Yeah, so
human
you're saying
suffering?
like, yeah, the woman is required to sustain this rapist's pregnancy,
Yeah.
regardless of her suffering. So,
Yeah.
so God would. That's how God thinks.
Well, no, we also believe in the devil. So the devil inspired, and basically the rapist acted in unison with evil, which is that which God is not. So the whole situation stems from evil, which is the opposite of God.
I just think like the whole two wrongs don't make a right thing is kind of circular, right? It doesn't really tell me anything. Like it doesn't tell me why this woman is obligated to sustain the pregnancy. It doesn't tell me why.
Well, because
Just
she's
says
obligated not
because
to
God
she's
has
obligated not to
Reese
murder.
Right, that doesn't tell me anything. It's circular. You're just saying because Reese
Well,
said it's wrong.
it's circular in your paradigm. In my paradigm, it's not circular at all.
So if you just say God, then you don't have to make an argument. You just get to say God.
I'm making an argument. I'm saying your paradigm doesn't make sense. It has no referent to actual morality. So you have no way to say you ought to do this or you ought not do this.
So that's not true because bodily autonomy is central to the morality of abortion. So if we're talking about
Okay.
sustaining a pregnancy against someone's will, that is a moral.
But does the
conclusion. It's not-
but
it's
but you
not
already
not-
said that the fetus is a life. It has a body, no?
no.
You said the
How does
fetus
that tell me-
is
how
a
does
life
that
since
say-
conception.
Right. So how does that require the woman to sustain the pregnancy against her will and allow the fetus to use her bodily resources against her will?
Because
like,
she-
what is the answer?
Because the fetus is also a human being with bodily autonomy. So why do you get to go against its bodily autonomy if that's the source of your morality?
Bodily integrity.
Because it doesn't get to trump my
Right.
bodily integrity and my rights to my own body.
Okay, and
no
who-
other
and-
human being
Okay.
has. I'm sorry, I'm still speaking.
Sorry, go.
No other human being has the right to use or be inside of another person
Right.
without their will and consent.
It's a
This
special
extends to
right.
a fetus.
Yeah, it's like almost
right
like
to
instead of equal rights, you want fetuses to have equal, but then also these extra special rights.
No. The exact same right as anyone else. The right to life.
Okay, well then,
No.
it cannot
Yes,
be
if
inside
it
my
has the
body.
same
and
rights.
It cannot use my bodily resources against my will and consent to maintain its own life. Just
Do-
like I can't just
Doesn't
like,
a
be like,
6-month-old need that as well?
No,
My bodily
does not
resources-
affect me.
No.
A 6-month-old doesn't need.
Attached to me.
Well, what difference does it make that it's attached to you or
A
not?
6-month-old can be that responsibility can be given to someone else.
Sure.
Not a fetus, we can't do that.
Okay, that's somewhat interesting.
Guys, do you believe in capital punishment?
Do I believe in capital punishment? That's a tough one. If we're talking about getting off topic, that would definitely be a completely different topic, but I could think about that and get to you. Capital punishment is something I used to be really strongly against, and now I'm just not quite sure. I have to read more fathers about it. I have to read
Just
the.
curious.
Yeah.
It's God. God didn't ask for that. That's not fair.
Well, that's what I thought too, but then it turns out there are Bible passages where God commands capital punishment. So, I mean, I have to look into it more. I have to read what the church fathers say about it and what the current position of the church is.
Yeah, read up on that. But
Yeah.
like,
So I just have one quick question on that.
Yeah, we'll cross that bridge.
Is it good because God says it's good, or is it good because it's actually good?
Yeah, this is the Youth of Pro dilemma, and it's a false dichotomy. It's
Well,
good.
that-
It's good because God is goodness itself. So the good flows from him by his very nature. He doesn't just arbitrarily
wrong.
say something's good.
But
And
my
yeah,
paradigm doesn't say that.
yeah, I know. That's why your
The
paradigm doesn't
paradigm's
make any
just
sense.
Subjective.
Yeah, the subjective paradigm doesn't make any sense because how do you make any sort of ought claim? Like, how can you tell me that I shouldn't,
Bryce, I'm
compel?
just messing with you. I have no idea. I still don't really know.
Okay, fair enough.
I think it's crazy to say two wrongs don't make a right. It's like that only works if you've already decided abortion is wrong, which is what we're already arguing about. So it's basically like the only answer to that when I say like, oh, but why is it wrong?
Oh.
is why.
No. Why is it wrong? Is because you're. Well, do you believe that schmurder is wrong? I mean.
But then you'd have to explain to me
You're
how abortion is
presupposing that
murder.
abortion is schmurder.
Oh, okay. Because
Explain how that
to
is.
schmurder is to take the life of a human
No.
being.
No, wrong.
What is it? What is it?
You are incorrect with that definition.
Okay. What is the
It is
definition
the
of schmurder?
unjust. It's the unjust.
Yeah.
Schmurder has to be considered unjust for it to even
Okay.
be schmurder.
Well, I
Usually
agree.
with
I
malicious
agree.
intent.
Yeah, well, then then
Yes,
it's even
and with
stronger.
malicious intent.
Then it's an even stronger
No,
definition.
It's not.
Well, what did
Because-
the
no, it's
child
not.
do
I don't go
wrong?
into-
What did
I
the
don't
baby
go
do
into
wrong?
Intercourse.
What
I'm
did
sorry,
he
I'm
do
trying
right?
to speak. I don't go into intercourse with my husband going, if I get pregnant, abortion.
I didn't say
I
that.
want to get pregnant just so we can have an abortion. Wow.
Right. No one thinks that. I don't
that
think
would be
that.
considered malicious
Malicious.
and unjust.
I would think it would be malicious and unjust to murder any innocent person, whether you intended to before you had the desire to have sex or not. I
Sorry,
mean,
but
what
a
are you
fetus
talking about?
isn't a fetus isn't innocent. It's amoral. It doesn't have the capacity to be innocent or guilty.
And how do you decide? Like,
It's quite
how do you know
literally
that?
Neutral.
How do you know that?
What can a fetus do to be guilty?
I agree. I don't think it can do anything to be guilty. Therefore, it's innocent.
What can it do to be innocent?
You don't have to do anything to be innocent. You're presumed innocent until proven guilty in
It
this
doesn't
country.
have the capacity to do either. It is amoral. It is quite literally.
It's
an
not
agent.
amoral. It's a human being. It's a
Yes,
person.
it is. Yeah, and newborns are also amoral agents.
Oh, so we should be able to murder them.
No. It's an amoral agent,
That's not what
has
I
no
said.
mind.
I made a point about an amoral agent.
Yeah.
That's all I did.
But you said we can murder
fetus
the
is an
fetus
amoral
because
agent.
it's an amoral agent, therefore it can't face
I
moral
said we can
repercussions.
terminate the pregnancy.
Okay, so we can terminate the
because it is inside
fetus,
of us against our will and consent.
and
That's
because
what
it's
I
an
said.
amoral entity, right?
All I did was point out that it's amoral because you are claiming that it is innocent, and it is not.
Okay, you are claiming that it's guilty, and it's not.
No.
I'm not claiming that it's guilty.
Well,
I
you're
quite
saying it's
literally
guilty
said
of
amoral.
stealing the
No,
resources of the woman.
Shut the fuck up and listen. I said it is amoral, which
Yeah.
is quite literally the absence of guilt or innocence. It is amoral. It cannot
Okay.
be either or.
But you're saying it's guilty because you're justifying terminating
get
it
that?
based on the fact that it's stealing the resources of the woman against her will. Oh, I'm muted.
Or do I need to like break it down in simpler terms?
Sorry, I was
'Cause I
muted.
can't.
I had a response there, but yeah, go ahead. Whatever you want to.
I'm sorry.
No,
I'm
no,
sorry,
no, no.
wait a minute.
Hold
when,
on,
when I
I
mute
just
you, that
want
doesn't
to
mean
know-
your hearing goes away.
I was listening. I have a
No, no,
response to
no.
what you
He-
heard. What you said.
Was muted and that he thought he was talking is what he meant.
Yeah.
So do you need any upgrade, or are you now understanding what Green is saying to you?
I understand what Green is saying to me, but I disagree.
Okay. You disagree on what part?
The fact that the fetus is amoral.
Okay. That's not an opinion.
How is that not an opinion?
That is a fact. Well, hold on.
Okay.
I'm not done.
Sorry.
This is it's a very comical, but that is not an opinion. It is a fact. Fetuses are incapable of being either innocent or guilty. They do not hold the capacity to be either. Do you understand now?
I understand the sentence, but I disagree with it, unless you have some sort of proof or argument for the fact that.
You know what? Continue to disagree and be wrong. We don't give a shit.
Okay, I agree. That's fair.
Here's the thing is that's fine. If you want to deny the fact, that's okay. I'm simply pointing out that it is not an opinion. That a fetus
Oh, where says bars?
guilt.
Is there some kind of scientific evidence for
So-
this, or like I don't understand how
Shit,
you're?
Can you start me though?
I can kind of hear you. You're cutting out. You're cutting in and out.
Do you understand what an? Oh shit! Hold on. Hold
Is
up,
there any
guys.
is there any scientific evidence that proves that a fetus has morality?
No, but that's why I'm saying it's weird to say that it's like a fact and that it's impossible to be refuted and stuff like that when there just isn't evidence for that claim. I don't.
But like, so take your
Scientifically
position,
now?
Rise, and like outside of religion, put the Bible and put religion on one side, and look at this from a pragmatic stance. And like you're making the points that you're making are only fortified by your belief in religion.
Yes, because it's a moral belief. It's a moral claim. So there's nothing except religion that can explain morality.
You know, I pity those.
I don't know, man.
Well, tell me. I mean, how could you? I don't understand how you could.
So people who are born in the middle of the African
I mean,
plain
here's
that don't
the
have
thing.
religion, like they just don't have morality because they don't have religion.
No, they do because God exists and He writes His law in our hearts. That's why.
I don't believe in your God. I detest your God.
Yeah.
I do not follow your God's morals.
I'm
Because if
aware.
I did, I would be supporting mass unaliving. Because if I remember correctly, your God ordered the unalivement of all of Egypt's firstborn.
Okay.
Like, can you prove that God exists? Because I'm not buying it. And like the Bible, to be honest, Noah's Ark is the most sus thing ever.
That's fine.
They fit all the animals. They all live in different climates.
That's-
Habitats. Some of them eat each other. Like, it just doesn't make sense. The math ain't mathing.
Sure.
Padre, when we got my one daughter baptized, I asked him because he was trying to get me to like turn into like Catholic or whatever they are. And he was like, "So what is stopping you from believing? You know, blah blah blah." And I was like, "Explain Noah's Ark." And he said, "Oh, well, my dear, that's simply a miracle. I'm not buying it." So like, prove
Okay.
your God exists.
Sure. Easy. So,
Miracle? Yeah, flooding the earth and unaliving everybody just for one family.
well, do you want me to
Really
prove
quick,
that?
do you believe in evolution?
I believe in selective adaptation and genetic
What does
adaptation.
that mean?
I mean, I believe in the building blocks of evolution, but I don't believe that humans evolved from like apes or something.
I'd like to ask Rise a follow-up question, if I could have a second.
Sure, but do you want me to respond to how I know that God exists or why that's important for this conversation?
No, don't really care.
Oh, okay. Well then, yeah. Go ahead. Ask me whatever.
Okay. Say you have two people, okay, and one person says to you, "Murder is good," and the other person's "Schmurder is good."
Yep.
And the one dude asks the guy, how do you know that?" And he says, "Because that's what my God told me." And then he asks the other guy, "Do you think Schmurder is good?" And he says, "Yes, Schmurder is good because my God told me it's good."
Right.
How do you come to an agreement with that type of moral? Like, isn't this basing your morality on meta ethics? I think that's what it's called.
Yeah. Metaethics is where we get to when we start to prove the necessity of a God to have any ethical structure. Yeah, absolutely.
Isn't
So-
that ultimately the problem? Is that, like, without divine revelation, you can't physically prove any one of those two people are right or wrong?
yeah, but that's why we're very blessed to have divine revelation.
Yeah, I don't know. That's where you guys lose me, man.
But it's
Like,
crazy because you're a cat. I mean, how are you a Catholic questioning whether there's divine revelation? I don't get that.
because of my life experience, in the traumas that I've lived in my life, the innocent lives that I've seen taken, make me question the word of human beings. And furthermore, like,
Yeah.
who am I to say what the all-powerful creator of our earth, like, to even think
Nobody.
that I have the capacity to rationally understand who our creator is, just shows the flaw in my own ego. So I don't even dare say that I know right, like, one from the other.
Well, actually, the flaw in your own ego is when the creator actually comes, and it's in mine as well. So I'm not accusing you, but is when the creator comes and makes himself known and visible to us, and then we reject him and say, "Well, I can probably figure it out better."
Okay, do you think pregnancy is a choice? Because I could really give a shit less about your God or your religion.
Yeah, fair enough.
We're going to get back on track. Do you think pregnancy is a choice?
Well, except for the instance of grape, I suppose. Yeah.
So you think women choose when our eggs are fertilized and when they're not?
Well, not like
Switch?
not like the same way that you choose. I don't know,
Is it like
a
a
blue
switch?
shirt or a
Can
red
we just
shirt.
like turn a switch
No,
on?
of course
and,
not.
And wish for pregnancy and it happens?
No, of course not.
So pregnancy isn't a choice. Sir.
Yes, of course it
We don't
is.
control when we get pregnant. No, it's not.
You control the possibility of it.
I'm sorry, excuse me. There are quite literally infertile people that exist who would love nothing more but to be pregnant and will never get pregnant.
Sure.
So tell me again how pregnancy is a choice?
Because you can choose not to have sex, assuming that you are a fertile person. In the normative sense, yes, there are infernal people that
because
can't
I don't
make the
want
choice,
children-
but
so because I don't want children, I have to live a life of celibacy with my husband?
I think, yeah. I mean, unless there's a better way, but yeah.
I'm quite literally done with him. He's
Okay.
promoting his God and celibacy.
What's
for
wrong with
married
celibacy?
Couples that choose never to have more children.
Well, actually, what I'm promoting is I think all married couples should have children, is what I'm promoting. But anyway.
Well, when I limit the amount of children I have,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to stop having sex with my husband.
That's fine. I mean, usually that happens naturally. That's kind of our built-in function of menopause and all the rest. But
Right,
fair
yeah,
enough.
And if I get pregnant,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not keeping it. But I'm still going to have sex with my husband with no intention of creating babies.
I mean, that's fine. You can do whatever you want. I'm saying I think that's wrong.
Celibacy because of your feelings and because of your religious beliefs.
I would never
No,
expect you
sir.
to. I would never expect you to. I'm just making arguments for any potential audience or anyone in the
Literally
chat.
telling women, then don't have sex. Be celibate if you don't want babies.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only way to ensure
When
that you
sex
won't.
is a natural part of human existence and it's used
Mm-hmm.
for other reasons besides procreation.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, I mean, there are other sort
There's
of
health
effects of
benefits
it.
to engaging in intercourse with your partner.
Oh, okay. We know what the main function of it is, though. We know what the most consequential function of sex is, though. I mean, we all know that.
Not really. That could be STDs.
Yeah, good time. Am I right?
STDs
You should be a priest, brother. You should join the clergy. No. Okay, I mean, if you're done with me, you're done with it. I think we've made all the
There are
points that we
lots of
can.
benefits to engaging in sexual intercourse with your partner, not just procreation.
Yeah, but the most miraculous and beautiful would certainly be procreation.
I mean, I won't disagree that that is like the most miraculous way to go about it with love and whatever. But that doesn't mean like that's the only way and that's the only reason we should have sex.
Okay, I mean, we can just agree to disagree on that. That's fair.
I mean, that's gonna be just everything if you want to talk about disagreeing.
Yeah, I mean, it's clear we all operate in different paradigms. I think I made my point fairly clearly that it actually matters what kind of paradigm you have. The subjective paradigm doesn't work, but if you guys just reject that objectivity is important and necessary for a debate, then that's fair. I have nothing really else to say.
I mean, that's fine. You reject the fact that a fetus is an amoral agent. So
Yes,
that's
I do.
totally fine.
Yep. I think we've come to kind of our heads here. So I will bid you all adieu. I appreciate you having me on and talking to me. And I hope, yeah. So I will bid you all adieu. I appreciate you having me on and talking to me.
Hey, Rise.
Oh, thank God. I couldn't click that fast enough.
I mean, he wasn't like a dick about it, so you gotta.
You can't tell right from wrong. You can't make any choices. You can't take any intentional actions. It's amoral.
Right, and like at least you got to be consistent. So like, if I sneeze into a napkin, all those little beings, I'm killing them. Oh no! Like, how?
So there you go, everybody. They just continued to maul afterwards. They really did not understand the argument at all, which is not surprising for a big abortionist panel. Let me know how I did. Let me know if you thought their arguments made any sense at all. Let me know if you liked the way I went about that, or if you thought I was being an idiot. Appreciate you all. Come back for more. Much love. Peace. Ramblings of a Mad Guy. We out.